Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Today's video is going to be a little something different. It's basically a day of fails for me. This stupid thing. Well, something you don't get to see very often. My other daily driver, the old Grandma Marquee here. Good old gal. I started the video out, I was going to do a little cleanup and paint under the hood of the F150. Unfortunately, I remembered I forgot to order valve cover gaskets. I had paint, but I didn't have any primer. I thought I had some primer in the cupboard. And just kind of generally missing half of what I needed to do that job. So I have some footage of it, but I kind of gave up on it. I think our main goal for today is probably going to be pull the air cleaner off, pull the valve covers off. I got this one's actually leaking up here on the front corner a little bit, and that one's leaking a little bit on the side, and get these things painted. Before I do that, I really probably ought to run this thing back down to the car wash again and get washed down under the hood. I got just years of grime and stuff like that on here, and just dust from sitting, and yeah, get it cleaned up a little. While I was pulling things apart, lift the air cleaner, realized that my carb was leaking pretty bad. Now, I'd seen it before that it just had some discoloration around the carb, and didn't think too much of it. You know, it's an old carb and it'll seep a little bit, but realized that the accelerator pump was actually leaking pretty bad. Good steady drip out of the thing. Great. So the video then kind of progressed into that. I was gonna make a video where I tore into the front of that carb, went through, you know, put a new accelerator pump on the thing, and like I said, just a day full of fails. I ended up having that bowl off probably 4 times. Well, we got everything installed. Let's go ahead and give this thing a shot, see what it does. Figured out that in the end, which you'll see here in a bit, I'll roll some of these clips that I talked about over tightening these things and over tightening carb parts in general and them warping. And unfortunately, that ended up being the case with this thing. The housing for the accelerator pump was a little bit warped, which isn't a huge deal. It's not as big of a deal as like a metering plate or the bowl itself. You just can get a nice flat surface and just run that cover on the accelerator pump to true it up. And then I did the same on the bowl, just trued that up. Got those square, just kept fighting it and didn't realize till way after that it was actually just the seals on the bowls that were leaking and running down the back and dripping. Because the truck is sitting on a hill, it's running down to that side and it's all dripping off the accelerator pump. So, okay. I don't have any of those. The store, unfortunately, was out of them. Usually they keep the big universal kits for the Hauleys in stock. Apparently today was the day that everybody else needed them as well. I have a whole drawer full of Hauly parts for, you know, all the various carbs I've rebuilt over the years, and I do not have a single one of those washers. Everything looks pretty good. I'm going to get this accelerator pump off here. Alright, we'll get this thing torn off and see what's going on here. Well, I'm not 100% sure why it's leaking. I don't see any rips or tears. Like I said, this has been recently rebuilt. Looks like the gasket's sealing well all the way around. Well, either way, we got a new one to put on it, so we'll go ahead and throw that in. Gotta always love getting parts from the parts store that have been taped back together. Just lets you know that somebody else has already checked it out for you and made sure it's good to go. This thing has a 30cc pump. You always want to double check that and make sure you got the same size. Easy way to tell is usually by the depth of the little bowl on here. This does have a little schmutz down inside it there. So we'll get all this cleaned out and put back together. Always want to double check these little valves in here too. Make sure they're alright. That one looks fine. Otherwise everything looks good. So we'll get this outside and spray it down. Guys, a good tip when you're done with your toothbrush, you know, they look about like this. You hang on. Ugh. Good tip when you're done with your old toothbrush, you know, they look about like this. You hang on to these things and throw them in your toolbox. They work great for rebuilding old carbs. And then, you know, you get something stuck in your teeth, give it a little bit. But, yeah. So, waiting on valve cover gaskets to get here. Waiting on a carb rebuild kit to get here. Seems like I'm just waiting on everything and nothing went right today. But I wanted to make something for you guys today, a little bit of a video, and I figured what better than kind of some bloopers and outtakes and just raw footage. And that was kind of the other thing with it too. I realized that, you know, I got a new tripod I'm trying out here, and just kind of getting the setup of everything right. I realized that most of the video, you see about this much of me. Alright, so stupid thing. You guys are still with me, okay? Rough day. Well, we'll keep going. Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. If you guys can see that. Shit. And that's hard to go through and redo all that video and reshoot all that just to be in frame. I should have checked it. I should have thought ahead, but I didn't. And like I said, it's just a day of fails for me. So, well, I was gonna pull this thing up and around in the driveway so I could work on it a little easier. And it looks like we're back to square one. I got nothing out of the left front, of course. Everything else works except for the left front, so great. I imagine it's probably the same issue I had before, critters getting underneath this thing and chewing on a little bit of wiring, but yeah, looks like I'm stuck here, so I'm gonna be working. So I'm going to be working out here on the side of my garage instead of in the driveway, which is great. They still run and drive, and those of you with project, I just catch a win here. I picked up some of this gold metallic. I always thought it would look neat to have the gold under the hood. I know it's a Ford, you know, typically those are going to be blue, but I wanted something a little different. I've always kind of thought gold would look neat on this truck. I may do some other stuff under there as well. And I remembered I don't have any primer. Crap. Well, on the plus side, My valve cover gaskets came in, went and picked those up. The guy was real skeptical about them because somebody at the other store had drawn all over it. I don't know if you can see that. And then apparently this add sticker usually means that it's defective and they're supposed to send them back, but it got sent to our store instead. So I got sent with the warning that make sure I check them out before I install them because there may be something wrong with them, and he'll order another set just in case. So I got that going for me. I'm just a regular guy. Not every day is a win for me. Unfortunately, you know, I wish I had the time to crank out big hour-long features where I'm going off and, you know, of course now there's a fly buzzing around the damn screen, but so anyway, if you guys made it this far in the video, as usual, I really do appreciate it. I appreciate you hanging out with me. I know it wasn't a super exciting update, but hopefully by next weekend I'll actually have some of these projects done and have a good video for you guys. Some of that footage I may end up trying to use in there, but more than likely I'll probably kind of start over on the whole video and scrap most of today's footage. As you saw, not a lot of great stuff in there. You know, some good tips on the carb, some other stuff in there that's, you know, funny or whatever. But yeah, for the most part, it you know, didn't quite go as planned. And like I said, I'm just a regular guy kind of doing this in my spare time, so that's to be expected. I hope you guys understand that I'm not diving into any of those big projects right now, and so that's why a lot of my videos lately are just kind of quick, you know, little projects here and there to try and make things that much better incrementally. But you know, hopefully, like I said, over this winter we'll start diving into some of the bigger projects and bigger things. I hope you guys enjoyed kind of a little blooper reel, you know, raw footage, whatever you want to call it, type of video. Something a little different and, you know, kind of gives you a peek behind the scenes, if you will. And yeah, probably not a lot of fancy editing or anything on here. I haven't done the editing yet, obviously. I've just reviewed some of the footage and kind of know where it's headed. But anyway, we'll see once I get to that point. So future me editing, don't edit as much. Okay, cool. Anyway, yeah, like I said, I appreciate you guys watching, and like and subscribe, and you know, you guys know the spiel by now if you've ever watched any YouTube video ever. You know, comment down below. Don't forget to, you know, check the description for links to other stuff and, you know, all those things. So anyway, you know what to do, and we'll catch you next time. Thanks. So we'll see.